Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and what a delight to have with us today, Judy Williams. She's the founder of iHalt, and we're going to find out what that is, promoting understanding and accountability and mutual respect with law enforcement. Judy, good to see you. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm great. It's nice to be with you.
Thank you. Where are we Skyping you in from?
From Stanton, Virginia, in the central Shenandoah Valley of Virginia.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. Well, what's the story behind iHalt? How'd you do this?
Well, iHalt is the brainchild of my husband and myself working together to come up with a way to help just stem the tide of growing unrest across America. And we saw everything that was unfolding across the country, really starting around 2014. With the situation that unfolded in Ferguson, and then it was followed by the shooting of the police officers point blank in their squad car as they sat and ate lunch in New York City, and followed by a 12-year-old being shot in a snow-covered park in Cincinnati when he pointed what was to have been a toy gun. It was a toy gun, but he had deliberately removed the clip to make it, the orange point on it, to make it look as though it were a real gun. And he went out and frightened people with that gun in the park, and unfortunately the child wound up dead. And we saw these things happening, then followed by Baltimore and the rioting and the looting. And Jim, my husband, and I were sitting and watching the news like the rest of America, and we're just appalled at what we were seeing. And we just said, you know, something has to be done. We're small business owners. This same type of thing could happen in our community. Our businesses could be looted. And what action would we take if we were in that position? And so we decided that what we need to do is take not intervention, but we need to take preliminary caution and care to teach children and adults how to cooperate and communicate with each other to prevent this type of thing in the future.
Wow, good for you. How do you explain the hostility these days towards law enforcement?
I don't know that there is explaining it from my point of view. It's I know it's there, and that's what we are striving to address. I don't know the root cause of it. I do believe a major portion of it is a lack of understanding of the cultural differences in our changing and diverse world that we live in, and people perhaps not being able to understand how to work together. And the civility is gone from our country, and that's what we're seeing evidence of at every turn. And so it's the civility that we are striving through iHalt to return to society.
By the way, let me say to our viewers and listeners, you can go to iHalt.us is Judy's website, iHalt.us, and learn more about it. All right, so you put together a program. You actually have some people going through the program. What's been the outcome of that?
Well, the outcome has been very positive and very heartening. Seeing the police officers and the county deputies and the firefighters and the EMTs going into after-school programs such as the Boys and Girls Clubs and Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and Parks and Recreation departments, and working with the children ages kindergarten through 12 and these various programs, and humanizing the badge. The outcome is being very positive. It's amazing to sort of stand back and watch so many of the youngsters now declaring that they want to be a cop or they want to be a firefighter. It's not too unusual for a child to say he wants to be a firefighter or an EMT. Everybody loves a fireman is the saying, and nobody likes a cop. But to see these children, so many of them now saying, I want to be a police officer, I want to be a motorcycle cop, I want to handle a canine squad. That's really very heartening because the badge is being humanized in our own local community, and it's a grassroots effort to advance this nationwide, and we do have interest nationwide. We are working with the Boys and Girls Clubs locally, and we are in very in-depth conversation now with the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, especially following last week's incidents that occurred in Minnesota and Baton Rouge and in Dallas.
Boy, that's terrific. Now, during your program, your curriculum, I guess it's K through 8, maybe beyond, you have a at-risk youth program called Stepping Stones. What is that?
Stepping Stones to Civility is our curriculum. It is actually written for children and youth in grades kindergarten through 12. And it is written for children, written for youth, young adults, but it also contains some very adult messages as well, because while this curriculum is designed to teach the younger population how to respect each other and themselves and authority, how to cooperate, how to communicate, how to listen, how to trust, how to engage in their communities so that they can help heal, build, and strengthen those communities. They are learning lessons in civility that seem to have evaded America for some time now. And the first responders, including the police, are learning how to adapt to and better understand the changing populations that they serve in their various communities. So the curriculum is very broad-based, but it's all based on civility lessons. And we teach choice and consequences of choices. One of the lessons tries to communicate to the youngsters that we do indeed have the freedom to choose what we do, but we rarely have control over those outcomes.
You know what's so interesting, Judy? It appears in today's culture, especially in the United States, with all the things that are going on, that there's a genuine hunger among citizens for law and order, civility, and morality. I mean, it seems like that's what the citizens want. Do you agree?
I do agree. I think people throughout time have turned to the necessity for law and order, because without it we have chaos and no one is safe. And everyone likes to have a sense of safety and stability in our lives. And so I think that is a very important point.
How is the agency, say the police, responding to your program? Do they assist you in the training?
They have been fantastic. They really have been just wonderful. We did a session just recently out in one of the Boys and Girls Clubs in a small town north of us here called Harrisonburg. It's the home of James Madison University and Eastern Mennonite University. So it's a growing community, and it has growing challenges as a result. And we went in with media and a video team to do a session with the young people that were in the Boys and Girls Clubs for the summer. We pulled out a group of 9 to 12-year-olds, and the police and the sheriff's deputies and the firefighters were there. And when we walked into the training room, on the walls were excerpts from the iHalt curriculum, which was very exciting. And one of the things we teach is perception, and how people can look at the very same thing and see something different. And on the wall was this item, which is something that you may recall from psychology or college, but is it the young woman or the old hag? And it has just been amazing seeing how the youngsters have responded to this. And then watching this one sheriff's deputy in particular, that man stood and he viewed this. He could see the beautiful young woman, but he could not see the old hag that is represented here in this image. And that was just really great, because it helped me point out to him, this is the reason we have that lesson, to show that people can look at the exact same thing sometimes and see something totally different.
Right.
And it's perception. And we know that people's perceptions are their realities. And so sometimes we have to approach those perceptions in a different way. And it's really encouraging to me, since we have begun implementation of the iHalt program, that there are police departments across the country now that are pulling their police officers in and training them in particular on how to deal with youngsters. Because I'm a former educator, and I'm not a psychologist, I don't profess to be, but I am a former educator, and I did study psychology as a part of that training. And one thing I learned early on is that the young person's mind does not develop completely to allow that person to be able to make rational decisions until mid-20s for most people. There are some people who exceed that. But by and large, the mid-20s is the point in time when people are able to engage the frontal lobe of the brains and refer to or respond to the 3 F's of fight, flee, or flow. And teenagers and young people know how to fight or flee. Those are bad signals to a cop, because the police officer says, no. And he goes after those people when that happens. And so they need to learn to respond, and they are learning to respond through training in their individual police departments nationwide now, how to pull a young person aside and explain why I'm having to search you, or why you can't do what you just did. And when they can separate a young person from a group of other young people, for example, there's not quite that urge for the individual that is being addressed to be mouthy and disrespectful and put on a show for the friends, for the peers. And so police are learning these tactics.
Well, congratulations and thank you for you and your hubby sticking your neck out and doing it. I think this is wonderful. If people are interested in an iHalt program in their area, do they just contact you through the website?
They may contact me through the website, absolutely. They can also contact me through Facebook, and they can contact us at our number that's been set up, which is area code 540-292-7788. And on our website, by the way, I will tell you that we are supporting, right now my husband and I are pretty well self-funding this entire movement. And to help us raise some money now, we are selling T-shirts and other iHalt items to help raise money for the funds. And we are in the process of obtaining our nonprofit status, 501c3 status, so that we can then apply for grants and other public funding.
Well, congratulations. Thank you. Thank you so very much for coming up with a positive alternative and especially reaching into the young people and training them, the whole issue of civility. This is wonderful. So thank you, Judy. Let me say to our viewers and listeners again, go to iHalt, that's HALT.US, and you can get all the information there and the connection there. Thank you, Judy. Let's stay in touch, okay?
I would love to. Thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it.
All right, you too. All right, we'll be right back.
I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.